Hey guys, so today is going to be my first SSO YouTube video. I don't really know what to make. I've been thinking about this honestly for a couple days and I don't know what to make. You know, a lot of people who already have like a following established can post on like an Instagram account and just be like, oh, here's a poll of things that I could do today. You guys can pick it out. I kind of can't do that. I don't have a following. I don't have anything going. So I just had to kind of come up with it myself. I figured maybe it's probably just going to be a massive yap sesh. If you stick around and watch some more videos, you'll learn that I am a big old yapper. I like to just yap. But I decided that maybe just start off kind of simple, do like a train with me while I kind of talk about myself a bit and just kind of yap and just kind of talk about myself. We're probably going to start with my SSO kind of story and how I came into making this account and gotten to where I am today. But yeah, let's just kind of get into it. So today I'm going to be training this guy right here. His name is Berry Delight. I let my boyfriend name him. I started training him yesterday actually. I cleared the entire map, which I think I do want to take off all of these. It makes it a little bit easier for me to see what I need to do. It's kind of nice if you have never done a training where you clear the map. It's really satisfying when you have like all of it done. We're just gonna go along and do that. So I started training him yesterday. He was only level 5 and I've gotten him this far. So let's start with a little bit of when I started playing Star Stable. So I started playing Star Stable probably not long after it came out. Honestly, I had a ton of different accounts in Star Stable kind of growing up. Don't ask what the name of those accounts are or anything. They are probably deleted at this point because I haven't touched them. I do remember the first ever account I made. I remember I was downloading the game on my grandpa's old laptop. It took hours to download. I was so excited. It took forever to download. It was actually insane. And when it downloaded, I got on there. I was so excited to play. And I think back then, correct me if I'm wrong because it's been a long time, it was kind of similar to how it is today where you can have like Star Rider for free up until like level 5, I think. Like I said, I don't remember if it's like that before. All of the new SSO players are not going to believe me when I say this, but I do remember that you had to pay to jump. You had to pay star coins to jump. And at that time I was really young and I had no family, I had, like members who would buy me star coins, which is, it is what it is. I would make these SSO accounts and then not be able to do anything on them because I don't know if they couldn't really afford it or if they just didn't want to, which is honestly totally fair looking back on it. Getting these star coins, I quit playing them. I would give up on the accounts like super early on. Never was able to buy a horse. I was never able to, jump in the game, like none of those things. I was not able to do any of those things. So yeah, I just kind of gave up. I probably made like 4 or 5 accounts, I'm not gonna lie, because I did really want to play it. I think I took a really long break from playing and COVID hit and we were doing like school from home basically. My mom and my dad are not together, so I was back and forth between my mom's house and my dad's house. I remember watching, like while I was doing homework, I was like, okay, let's just go on YouTube and find something to watch while doing homework. And a Violet Flower Garden video popped up on like my recommended, and I was like, Star Stable, like let's see what's going on in Star Stable Land. I haven't played it in years. It was probably like 5 plus years at this point. Oh my god. I always mess up that jump. But it probably had been like 5 plus years at this point that I had played it. So let's see what's going on in Star Stable Land. I click on it, and this was around the time when the Jorvik Wilds had just came out, like that whole area, like Tailtop, I think. That's why the Jorvik Wilds to this day like hold a special spot in my heart, and it shocks people when they're like, oh, what was the first horse you bought? And I pull out a Jorvik Wild. But yeah, the Jorvik Wild was the first horse I ever bought. If you hear noises in the background, my cat is like clawing at the hamster's cage. She keeps like messing with it. No matter how hard I try to like cover it up so she can't do it, she still does it. And anyone that is worried about the hamster safety, I promise I do not let her in this room unless I am in this room. So I am constantly able to watch. She just meowed. I'm able to constantly watch her. What are you doing? Hi. She just jumped up on my shoulders. Hi. I don't remember what we were talking about. I will insert a picture of what my cat looks like in case you want to know. I've only had her for about a month, but she is the sweetest thing in the whole world, and she's very lovey. Okay, now that we had that little bit of a... She's still on my desk. I can't see. Now that we were so kindly interrupted. But I started watching that in probably like fall of 2020, I want to say. I decided I'm just going to make this account, not thinking that it was going to stick around really. So I made the Matilda Greyrock account in 2020, and I remember I was getting to that point. I think at that time you could just jump for free. I don't think you had to pay for it. I know you did have to pay to be able to lead your horse anywhere, because I did pay for that. So if you don't know, if you paid for that, if that was a thing when you made your account and you paid for that, you can lead your horse whether you get to that level or not, because in the horse leveling up system you have to get to that to be able to lead them. But if you paid for it, you can just do that. Same with horses. They changed it. You had to get to a certain level before they could do their special move. If you're new and didn't know, before you could just do the special move whenever you bought the horse. If you bought the horse before that was set in place, you can do that before it's fully maxed, or before it gets to that level. So I made this account, and I remember at the time I was at my mom's, and she was like, oh, if you do some chores, I will, I'll pay you. And I had the great idea, like, oh, instead of paying me, could you just buy me star coins? And she was really against it at first. When she would pay me, she would give me cash, so there's no way I was going to be able to, like, buy them myself. So I was just like, Mom, please, like, whatever. It took a lot of convincing, I won't lie. She very much did not want to do it. I finally bugged her enough. She was like, fine, I'll buy you star coins. She bought me, I don't remember which one she bought me, but I went and I let my sister kind of help pick out what horse I got for my first horse. And I'll put a picture up on the screen of which one it is. It was the blue and gray Yorvik Wild. I love that horse to pieces. That is actually the horse that I use for my champs, just because I love her. Yeah, that was the first horse. And then that same day, I think I bought, I'll put another picture up on the screen just because I don't know what breed it is. I think it's the Trackner or the Tracaner. I don't know how you say it. It's the black and white one. I knew from that moment on, now I bought a horse. Well, 2 horses technically. I could not get rid of the account. So then it just kind of turned into a thing where my mom would be like, oh, hey, will you do this for me? And I'm like, I will, for star coins. Like, it kind of turned into a thing where, like, my mom would be like, hey, if you do this for me, I'll get you some star coins. Like, it was like my allowance. It became my, like, most, kids would get money they could go buy, like, toys or candy with, but I got paid in star coins, which I'm not mad about it. There's not really much else I can really say other than, I kind of went a little while with that. I remember in the winter time of 2020, I joined my first ever club. My account was created on the chocolate cupcake server, so every once in a while I'll pop back in there, but it was a dressage club that I joined. I remember I had a lot of fun. I actually used the Yorvik Wild as my dressage horse, and I cannot do these races. Oh my gosh. No, I had a really great time. That's where I learned a lot of my dressage kind of moves. The stuff that I know now is from my current club, but, that was my thing that I did. I was later kicked from that club for inactivity, because I was split between my mom and my dad's house. And I remember telling them that because I had to go through, like, an interview process. It wasn't, like, a super big club or anything. It wasn't, like, on Night Star, so it wasn't a big, crazy club. But there was, like, an interview process, and I remember I did tell them, like, hey, I kind of go back and forth between my mom and my dad's house. Like, is that going to be okay? Like, I'm not on very often. My dad doesn't usually let me, like, play. Oh, my gosh. My dad doesn't usually let me play, like, games, like, during the week and things like that. So, and they're like, yeah, that's totally fine. And I remember, there was, like, a couple weeks in a row that I didn't get to go to my mom's, so I didn't get to play. I mean, I couldn't really play at my dad's anyway. I didn't really have a computer, that was only at my mom's. I went and logged on and noticed I wasn't in a club, and I was like, that's very strange. And then I checked like my mailbox, and they had sent me like a mail that said that I was kicked from the club for inactivity. Yeah, that was my first club story. They were nice about it, but at the same time, I feel like if that was going to be an issue from in the first place, then maybe should have told me, hey, that's not going to work. You kind of have to be on to be in the club, and I would have been totally okay with that. But it's no big deal. It's a pony game. I don't really get mad about anything in this game just because it's a pony game. But I just kind of lived my life after that. Kind of clubless. I don't think I ever really joined a club. I was only in that one. I would get on, train my horses a little bit, and get on for the updates. There was like a while where I really just didn't I don't want to say enjoy getting on, but I didn't really have like a reason to get on. So I just didn't really get on. And if I did, it was to kind of mess around with my horses, make an outfit, get some clothes or horses that just came out from an update or whatever it may be, and log off. That was kind of the end of it. I did that for years. There was a time that I would also, if you look it up, I do have a old YouTube account with the same name as this one. So if you look it up, it will probably come up with that one too. It's under the same name. Not telling you to go look that up at all, just in your free time if you kind of feel up to it. There's also that. But I made like one video. There's one video on that account of me buying horses. So if you want to watch it, you can. I wanted to delete it before I started making videos on this account, but I don't know the email or the login or any of that stuff. So that's just, it is what it is. Kind of really can't do anything about it. And alongside that YouTube account, I also have an Instagram account. I'm a little upset about that as well. YouTube, I'm not too upset about it just because you can have there can be multiple channels with the same name, so I'm not too upset about it. It's a little embarrassing, but at least it's only one video, and I'm sure later on I'll look back at this video and be like, damn, that was embarrassing as well. The Instagram is a little bit different because I can't really make another account with that name. Also, with the Instagram account, that's a little bit embarrassing. I made that as kind of like a fake roleplay account. So if you look it up, I won't lie, I won't hide anything. If you look it up, there is like my account, and it is kind of like a fake little roleplay thing that I did by myself. Which kind of brings me to my next thing that I did kind of in my Star Stable journey, I guess I could say. I used to do fake role plays by myself. So like I would pull out the horse, I would pull out like all this tack, like all these different like outfits, like realistic tack outfits, and I would go and pretend that I'm like picking up this horse and training it and taking it to shows and things like that. I had a lot of fun. I did that for probably at least a year or so, I would say like November of 2024 up until April, May of this year. I didn't really touch it. I kind of had a lot going on in my personal life. Star Stable was kind of in the back of my mind, and I didn't really want to play it. Me and my boyfriend moved into our own place, and, we're figuring things out on our own, kind of finding our footing, if you will. So I just didn't really touch the game too much. And then I decided to kind of get back into it once we were settled in around May, doing the same thing, the kind of like role play stuff. I think May is also when I decided to move servers, so I moved from Chocolate Cupcake to Nightstar. I had heard a lot of things about Nightstar. A lot of the like YouTubers that I would watch at the time were on Nightstar. Everybody was on Nightstar. And I was always super nervous of moving because I did have friends on Chocolate Cupcake. I obviously don't talk to them anymore or anything like that, but they were kind of like roleplay, like wild roleplay friends. I decided to make the big jump and move to Nightstar. I decided to move to Nightstar because I had seen someone on like a TikTok live stream. They were doing like a flat show, and I never heard of that before, and I didn't think that was a thing. I wanted to try it out, and if you've never been on Chocolate Cupcake, it's a very dead server. I wouldn't say it's the most dead server, but it definitely is a pretty laid back, slow kind of server. So I was like, well, there's none of that here. I'm not going to find any of that. I'm going to have to move. So I moved to Nightstar, did a lot of flat shows, a couple like jumping shows. I had a really great time. And then someone put out an ad for a that a club was hosting a trail ride. I was like, you know what, why not? I'm not doing anything. There was a trail ride earlier in the day that I wanted to join, but they were going to Epona, and I didn't have that unlocked. I only hit level 20 just a couple days ago, to be completely honest with you. Once I hit level 15, like years ago, I kind of honestly gave up leveling up my account. So I didn't really have anything unlocked. I definitely didn't have Epona unlocked. I did not have Dino Valley unlocked either. So this one was going to a place where I could actually go. I have made the executive decision I'm not doing that race over there because I don't like finding the bunnies. So that is the one race I'm not going to do today, but it's okay. I'm also, I think, going to skip the Starshine Ranch ones because I do them in a very weird way. So I'm going to skip them as well. We're just going to go to Fort Pinta. Maybe eventually I'll make a video about that because there's a reason that I do. Basically, the Starshine races, I do them one at a time. I'll eventually make a video down the line of why I do that, but that's why I'm going to skip it right now. But so I joined this, I think it started at Jasper's, and I didn't even have the trailer there yet, so I had to like trailer to the riding arena and then run. But I met these people, we did a trail ride, they were very talkative, very nice. I mean, they kind of said that they had a club that had Discord, which is what I wanted. I wanted to kind of have friends that I could legitimately talk to, maybe outside of Star Stable. So I was really excited, and then when we got to the end of our trail ride, I was asked if I wanted to join the club, and I was super excited. They're super laid back. I'm still in that club obviously today. That was the beginning of June, I want to say. And I'm still in that club. I've met some of the greatest people I've ever met in my life, some really kind, amazing people. It's the Alpha Knights. That is the club. Everyone in there is very kind and helpful and just very sweet. So if you're ever on Night Star, 'cause that's where we stay, don't be afraid to come up and say hi to us or whatever. Everybody in the club is very, very nice. But yeah, ever since that day, I never looked back. Since I joined that club, I've trained so many of my horses. I don't know, I just had a lot of great time, just hanging out with them. And honestly, like, joining that club is what kind of reignited that fire, that light to want to play this game. And I haven't looked back since, so that's kind of my like Star Stable story. It's not super crazy or super long, just because I haven't really been playing that long. So yeah. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and end this video here. I know I said I was going to do kind of an all about me video, but giving my story of my Star Stable story on how I started playing the game and how I got to where I am right now kind of took up a lot more time than I was expecting. So I think I'm going to call it there. I think I'm going to continue training him for the day though and clearing my map. But thank you guys so much for listening to my little rant, my little story. If you would actually like a video of learning about me, just let me know down in the comments down below, and also add some questions. If you have certain questions that you want to ask me to get to know me a little more, go ahead and put those down there as well. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and till next time, bye.